then we get the sequel 2 years later with Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. And in this movie, you have, it's sometime later from the first one, and Sue and Reed are getting married. And they're trying to have their wedding, and a bunch of these little anomalies keep popping up. The water just freezes in Japan, like it just stops, like nothing's moving. You got a bunch of places where there's big giant sinkholes that pop up somewhere, and then the government calls the Fantastic Four to help them and try to figure out what's going on. And it's the cause of the Silver Surfer, who basically is basically is like bringing on like Galactus, and is basically like trying to like wipe out the resources and everything on the planet. And so it's an interesting character, which I think the design is very well done. Who's voiced by Lawrence Fishburne, but played by Doug Jones, who's in the suit. And I think that design, I don't think you get it more perfect than what they did with that. I'm curious to see. I think they said it's going to be a woman for this new Silver Surfer, which I really don't have an opinion on that. I guess if they just do the character right, that's what I'm worried about. Woman, male, doesn't really matter. But yeah, you bring back Doctor Doom, you have the Silver Surfer, and Doctor Doom is played by the same guy, and he's just as corny and goofy as, a mustache twirling villain, so to speak. And basically, the Silver Surfer, once he gets taken off the board, like a lot of his power comes from the surfboard, and so it's kind of an interesting character, who tries to help the Fantastic Four try to take out Victor, but is almost like this bad omen, with basically it's like your world is about to die and there ain't nothing you can do about it, and then he sacrifices himself at the end of the movie. Spoiler, I guess, but basically sacrifices himself, and he becomes a good guy, because he's kind of a bad guy, but he becomes a good guy at the end. And so the movie, like I said, I wish there was more. The bad thing is we see a lot of the Silver Surfer sitting in a room talking, or at a costume talking. There's not very much saving going. There is some cool scenes where you have them with the Ferris wheel in England. And I forgot to mention that you also have Johnny Storm. Once he comes in contact with the Silver Surfer, his powers, like he'll touch somebody and he'll switch powers with him. So he was like switching powers with the Reed Richards, and then at the end, when they figure out how to do that, they switch back powers, and he's got all the powers of all the Fantastic Four, and basically takes out Doctor Doom. And so that was kind of a cool little plot thing. And Chris Evans, everybody comes back. But as far as the first movie, I think this one, it's not like totally terrible. Like a lot of people, they read into this stuff way too much, especially if you're comic book fans. And I've talked about it before. I don't really read comics. I don't read. I don't know how close it is to the comic book depiction. But as far as the movie goes, you have to look right. I think you would have had a great cast if you would have given them more movies to like flesh out to see them do more heroic stuff. I think they would have been fine amongst the other superheroes superhero movies that we've seen, which we've got to see like Iron Man be fleshed out over over a decade now, and he's going to be coming back for the new movie, or not Iron Man per se, but Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, I think this cast of actors, I think if we would have got them another movie or another couple movies, or have them team up with somebody else, I think we could have really got a good Fantastic Four group, and I think they would have been more highly regarded if they would have got more chances to shine in other movies. But this one, I would say, is under. It's under the first one.